Hello everyone, today's video is gonna be about the, well, would you call it the new Vivo X Fold5? I always kept miscalling this phone as the Vivo Fold X5 or something like that. But yeah, it's the Vivo X Fold5, and I guess this is the season of folding phones because this, as the name suggests, is indeed a folding phone. Full review for this phone will come soon because there are a lot of fancy features that makes the phone work. Elevate the experience as a foldable device, and I have already set up VTool scene, but we will talk about the specs first because this phone is rather interesting. As you can see, Vivo X Fold5, and the chipset that they use is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. So yes, it is the previous generation chipset. And yeah, the 8 Gen 3 will, heat up quite a lot too. So I'm not sure how this foldable will handle it. And then the screen resolution is 2480 by 2200. Then for the memory, we have 16 gigs of LPDDR5X, okay. And for our unit in particular, 512 gigs too. Battery is 6000 mAh, which is rather high, but then the battery capacity is only like half of the story. So with the specs out of the way, in this gaming test, I'm only gonna test 3 games in particular: Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, and also Wuthering Waves. And the reason why I'm only doing these 3 games is because, well, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, we've already seen it performing in all different phones for the past year. So I just want to test out with these 3 very demanding games, how is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in the Vivo X Fold5 is gonna perform. So let's boot up Genshin Impact first, and there are quite a lot of fancy features. So as you can see, it will show you what kind of aspect ratio do you want it to be. Do you want it to be in full screen or in the same aspect ratio as the cover display? The reason why this option exists is because of the field of view. In certain games like let's just say shooter games, for example, you can select the field of view. So either the camera will be closer to your character or further away, and that will also affect the angle of view. So if your FOV is a lot wider, then you will see that all of the things at the side of your screen will be distorted. So basically, if you use it in full screen, then the field of view will be different because it will put it, I think, further away and then crop out the sides. As for the if you use it the same aspect ratio as the cover display, then you already know how that looks. So it's gonna depend on your taste. For me personally, I will use it in full screen mode. And while we are logging in, I also want to talk about this because, like any other Vivo phones, you do have quite a lot of features as well. So for example, esports mode, 4D game vibration, that won't matter because I'm using a controller anyway. And here is where you can change the display ratio, and then we also have bypass charging feature, which I can demonstrate using the Ugreen power bank just like what we did last time, but yeah, I won't do it for this time. So logging into the game, I am already not playing Genshin Impact for quite a long time, so I'm only logging in to do gaming tests like this. So the first thing that we need to show you is the graphical settings that we're using. So I'm gonna use it in these settings. Practically is the highest graphical quality, but just tuned to 60 FPS. The reason why we're using these graphical settings is because the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 should be able to handle these graphical settings. Of course, if it doesn't thermal throttle. And also there's one interesting thing with version 5.8 update. Are we at 5.8? I can't remember, the one with the robot maid lady. Yeah, we are now running on Vulkan API. Now, Vulkan API is very different from the previous OpenCL or OpenGL, I can't remember, but it's either one of those APIs. Vulkan API is supposed to be much more efficient compared to OpenCL or OpenGL, the previous one. And since it is now using Vulkan, I can't change it by the way, it just says that it's using Vulkan, we should be getting a very different gaming experience compared to other Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 phones that we have. So, with that out of the way, I'm gonna use my controller here. This is the GuliKit KK3 Max, and thanks GuliKit for sending us this controller. I really love GuliKit controllers because they are very high quality, and this KK3 Max, I would say it's better than the Xbox controller in a lot of ways. So our full review will come soon. So do stay tuned for that, and let me do this setting first. So for Genshin Impact, we are at the new, I don't know what this place is called, the new event place thing. I'm just gonna walk around, collect treasures, unlock the area, and then that's how I'm gonna test the performance. I will also start the recording now because there's really nothing much to do in Genshin Impact nowadays. I practically kinda already quit the game. Yeah, I'm not sure what's the render resolution, but we will check all of those out in the analysis part at the near end of the video. What? Now they start yapping. Oh, now is the good time to show you a feature. So for the Ghoulie Kit controllers, actually all of them, you have this little gear button here. If I press this and press A and then do it once more, if I press it once, it will automatically spam the A button for me, kind of like a makeshift skip button in games that doesn't have a skip button like Genshin Impact. I'm not sure if it will get you banned, but yeah, if you wanna use the skip button, pseudo skip button, you can, because this game they really need a skip button. Maybe then I will come back to Genshin Impact, because after playing Wuthering Waves for a while, yeah, that game is so much better than this. So as you can see, we at this new event area, we're only at like what, 40 FPS. Quite commendable, though I do realize that there are some frame skips here and there. The frame time isn't exactly the best. It's consuming like 5 watts ish, and now they start yapping. Time for the skip button, pseudo skip button to work. I'm not doing anything, I'm putting down the controller. Skip it for me, please. Oh yeah, I should tell you that this is the Nintendo Switch layout. What they're showing here is the Xbox layout, so the B button is technically my A button, so yeah, that's why it doesn't look the same. It's something that I have to do mental gymnastics every single time that I use PC, Xbox controllers and Nintendo Switch controllers. But the KK3 Max, you can actually change the face button as well. So again, we'll talk about that in our full review. (37.7 degrees Celsius). Kinda low, but I guess that's the thermal throttling limit. I mean, that's the thermal limit, because frame rate, you know, average was 40 FPS, but now it's only 30. So, okay. I guess they have a 2-stage thermal throttling here, but rather low, I would say. Let's do this again. I have no idea what kind of BS they want me to do. Push the drums to the end of the color. What?
Let's push the drum forward by firing paintballs at it.
See, this kind of conversation, you have to wait for them to talk so long before you can actually skip forward. Why? Why is Genshin like this?
go. Into the wind.
Huh? Oh, you got grappling hooks. It's better than Kinich. Each time I want to use the compass, I have to get out of the animal. That's annoying. This one can walk up the mountain. So, Wuthering Waves. Basically. And it doesn't even cost you stamina. So, this thing is the best traversal animal in Netland. So I think we're having a very stable frame rate and also stable power consumption, about like 4 watts, somewhere around there. Frame rate, again 30 FPS. Not the best in terms of the gaming experience, I would say, because Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, not particularly the most powerful or power efficient to begin with. And yeah, I don't know why Vivo decided to use a last gen chip for their current generation foldable device. It's kind of weird. I guess I have to do this, but I have no idea how I'm gonna do this. Better than any Netland characters, right? Because you can walk up the wall for free. That's crazy. Oh, you can even walk on water. This is literally better than any Netland character in terms of traversal. Especially since you can walk up mountains for free.
Let's have some fun, shall we?
Oh,
Let's light it up! Rain of bullets! Gotcha!
this is my old team.
Observe! Slip, slide,
Walk up the mountain for free. Damn. Holy frame skips, what the heck is happening? I might as well do this.
Let's show me your move. Good boy. Do this.
Things are about to get dicey. Teamwork is strength. Observe your grand finale. Time for a light show.
Let's finish this next time. This was new.
No longer a meta team, but still quite good. Overall stuff, of course. So okay, I've been in the game long enough. Temperature is very slowly rising. Even after half an hour, we're still not hitting 39 degrees yet. Frame rate, we have already, I guess, we went through the first stage of thermal throttling, and that's why we are only at 30 FPS. Remember, originally it was 40, so still not good, but not the worst, I would say.
Adventure time.
Oh, I forgot this game doesn't have any locked on system, as in camera lock on.
I step. Gotcha. Here comes the catch. Yeah, going in.
Whoops.
Fire hazard. Here come the fireworks. Teamwork is strength. Quietly now. Game's up. Fun's over. Ali, strike is one.
What the heck am I stuck on? Okay, that's enough for this gaming test. Yeah, do expect the frame rate to be like 30 FPS average on Genshin Impact. Highest graphical settings in the what's this place called again? Easy Breeze Market? No. Yeah, Easy Breeze Holiday Resort. Okay. So for Zenless Zone 0, what we can do is to manually turn up everything to the absolute highest. And I will be using my controller as well, because this game, controller is definitely the way to go. Okay, now that we are in the game, yeah, this area will be very laggy because every single device that I use, this particular square is gonna be horrible. Yeah, frame skips, stutters, they are very common for this area, and we're getting like 30-ish FPS. Not the worst, but also definitely far from the best. Yeah, it stutters a lot. So Flower Boss, same team as ever, let's go. I will start the recording as Bernice enters the field. That was a very slow loading. What happened? The frame skips. So this will be the ultimate test for the phone. If the phone can handle it, good, but I doubt it can. And why is the game so loud?
My blade is already time to heat things up.
Oh my god.
over. Unstoppable.
What? That is definitely lag that caused me to use the 2 stacks of I don't know what's that thing called. That ruined my combo. Oh my god. It is very aggressively thermal throttling because temperature is still 39 degrees Celsius, but the frame rate though, oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. It was kinda not the best frame rate. Actually, for a foldable device, it is, I would consider the second best in the year 2025 because we will talk more about this in our full review. Okay, so 93.68 million damage. Kinda okay, I guess. It's better than the average 88. No idea why it's so loud for this game though. So for Wuthering Waves, we are gonna use all of these settings. Again, basically the highest graphical settings available here. So Let's see how the phone handles. I have already done my dailies here, but let's go around. So as you can see, the frame rate 40. Actually, Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact kind of similar to each other, because if we pump up the graphical settings to the maximum, we're gonna get about the same frame rate for both games. So let's see what happens when we are in combat or exploring the new area instead, because in the city seems to be doing okay, but then with this kind of wattage I do expect it to drop the frame, thermal throttle, like what we saw just now. Oh, the loading speed is also kinda rough. Things just start popping up. Oh, the frame rate is rough. Anyway, let's go to the new area, which is the Fabricatorium of whatever the heck this is. No, actually no, we should go to the Septimon. So we'll just start recording and see how things go. Okay. I'm not sure if it's doing some sort of shader caching. We'll have to play around a bit more to see how things go. So far, not looking too hot. Well, even the temperature isn't too hot.
Quickly and swiftly.
Come on, pal.
The fruit of evolution. My company.
What the heck is this frame rate, man?
Start small to build big.
This game seems to have some sort of loading time issue. That's strange, actually.
Found your weak spot.
Let's do this together.
Fruit of evolution.
What?
Lighter than a dove.
Loading speed is definitely not the best here. You can see a lot of stuff popping in. Not sure why. Is it using some UFS 3 or what? I can't confirm, but we'll talk about it in our full review. Oh, I'm already at the boss area. Yes, this is exactly... Whoa, that lighting!
Quickly and swiftly. The fruit of evolution. My company. Found your weak spot. Brilliant lights the way. My company. Running white save.
Okay, that was fast. Okay, so the lighting change is intended.
Life isn't everything.
I shouldn't have done that. Bye bye chicken. Is that even a chicken? I don't know. Looks like a chicken though. Oh my god. There's frame skips. There's some loading BS going on. Okay, I got hit. Let's go to this thing. Yeah, the loading speed is definitely not the best either. So the reason why I want to do this fight in particular is not because I want to flex, it's because some other phones, when you enter into an arena like this, they will just, you know, load everything and then make the phone lag like heck. So hopefully this isn't the case for this phone. If these kind of boss battles are okay, then I do think that it's acceptable. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Ooh, that's a very nice slow-mo. So yeah, I do think that in this kind of boss battle, since it's okay, that means it has to do with constant slow loading speeds. You know, open world games, you can't load everything at once, so they only load a fragment of what we are looking at a time. So when you keep on changing scenery, then they have to keep on loading new assets into the game. That is where the lag comes from. It's the loading speed. I don't think the RAM is the issue here, because LPDDR5X should be plenty fast. It should be the storage chip that is in use for this phone. Is it UFS 3 or what? Because I don't think UFS 3 will have this issue. Definitely strange, I would say. I will have to do a bit more testing to see what's going on. So we will talk about it in the full review. Yeah, water physics on the mobile version is so different compared to the PC version, because the PC version, they literally went all out with the water effects, the physics, the particle effects, ray tracing even, and the mobile version is, well, still looks fine. It's just not what I'm used to. Yeah. So we'll end the recording here. And now let's move on to the analysis part. Okay, so for the analysis part, this is gonna be real simple because we only have 3 games, and then the temperature very low, and we've already tested all these games for a very long time. So we can see Genshin Impact, the render resolution for Genshin Impact 1920 by 1704. Okay, so this phone is not exactly very squarish, it's slightly more rectangular compared to some of the other foldables, but it's still rather square, I would say. So average power consumption, it says 4.37 watts. The average frame rate is 31.5. Actually, we can split the average into a few different segments. So as you can see here, when we first go into the game, it's like nearly 60, somewhere around there. and then suddenly it drops to like 40 FPS for this section, and then it drops further down and stabilizes at around 30 FPS. Of course, there are a lot of frame drops, as you can see there. And the reason why is because of this orange line. The orange line is the temperature. So as you can see here, when it rises to like, I don't know what's the exact number, but it thermal throttles really fast for the first stage, and then thermal throttles again for the second stage at around like 37-ish degrees Celsius, and then they just maintain it at that temperature throughout the entire gaming test. And then the temperature still rises for a while until it reaches like around 38-39 degrees Celsius, and then they just maintain it until the end. Yeah, once you reach like 37-38 degrees Celsius, it will reach to the second stage of thermal throttling. I presume that is the final thermal limit. So it's kind of interesting to see that the Vivo X Fold5 has such a low thermal limit. Again, they are definitely not planning for you to use this foldable phone to play games. So as you can see, the frame times is all over the place. Certain times it can reach like 100 milliseconds, which is actually really bad. And yeah, there is no CPU utilization bottleneck here. Not sure about the GPU, but I do presume the GPU is like pegged at 100% at all times, because the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3's GPU not exactly the best either when it comes to these kind of games. Yeah, as you can see, the wattage, this is the first part when it's at the beginning part here, and then this is the second part, corresponds to this part, and then when it drops down to like 30 FPS, it consumes like around slightly above 4 watts. Now for Zenless Zone 0, the render resolution is at 1860 by 1650. Kind of weird kind of resolution, and then power consumption average 4.27 watts. Okay, so the minimum is at 7 FPS only. That happens because especially when you go into chain attack mode, that slow motion menu, and then have to zoom into the character and whatnot, that is usually the laggiest part, and getting only 7 frames, it is definitely very distracting. Maximum is at 40 FPS, and we can see the frame rate is actually all over the place. The average is at 22.1 FPS, which is actually quite bad, and the maximum is at 40. Actually, the only time it hit 40 is here. That's about it. So I would neglect the maximum FPS altogether, because when you look at the whole graph, it is mostly hovering around this line. Yeah, which is at around 22 as it says. Now the frame time again, oh, this is actually very bad, because you have a lot of spikes to 100 milliseconds, and even the baseline frame time is mostly at around 50 milliseconds only, which is actually very laggy. The maximum is 470. Okay, so for this case in particular, the CPU seems to be the bottleneck. Yeah, it is nearly 100% utilization for most of the time, and it's just not looking that good. And I suppose it's because CPU 7 is the lowest core clock speed, is it? And that is causing the whole phone to bottleneck for this game, Zenless Zone 0. Average power consumption are about like 4 point something watts, about 4.3, 4.4, somewhere around there, I guess. 4.27, okay. And then finally, Wuthering Waves. Now this game has a very high render resolution of 2480 by 2200, and that is why we are having worse frame rate when compared to Genshin Impact. So as you can see, we are getting like around 20-ish FPS. Even the highest FPS is only like 43. Okay, the lowest frame rate is 0, and that is because we were teleporting. When you teleport, then the game will just go all the way down to 0 FPS. The loading speed in this game in particular is extremely slow. I'm not sure why that happens, so I will have to do some more testing to find out why. So here's the CPU usage. I would say this kind of CPU usage chart is typical. And then for the power consumption, quite steady. I would say about like 4.5 watts. 4.44 is what the V2 scene detected. And overall, I would say that the gaming performance of the Vivo X Fold5, not the worst, but also definitely not the best. For a phone using the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 though, I would say it's okay. Then that is because we have tested some other phone, another foldable phone, using the Snapdragon 8 Elite 7-core version in a very thin foldable device that performed worse than this phone. So that's why I'm saying, even though it is not using the latest hardware, it still has some pretty respectable frame rates. It's just that the price of this phone is, I would say the price is just way too high for what it has to offer. Again, we'll talk about all of those things in our full review. So do subscribe and stay tuned for that video. Also, this is the 8-core version of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. I have to check because Snapdragon has the 7-core version 8 Elite that they announced out of nowhere, and it's up to us to find out what phone uses that particular chip. Just Snapdragon things. So yeah, we'll see you guys in a full review. Goodbye.